Let's talk rookies. Let's go
Yeah.
through the rookies and discuss where they stand after 2 games. Starting with Mykel Williams. First game, no stats. Second game, some serious stats, some tackles for loss, some pressures, played a lot. What'd you think?
He looked great, man. Obviously, I think if we're talking about things he needs to work on first, you don't see him very effective yet in the pass rush. But as a run stopper, as a presence on that defensive line, he's definitely making an impact. And it's only week 2. First week, I threw it out on Twitter. I was like, "Did anyone see anything from Mykel Williams?" And I wasn't even like trying to criticize him or anything. And a lot of people were jumping on that train. I wasn't trying to criticize him. I just didn't notice him at all in that game, and I wasn't like looking for him specifically. But in this game, same thing. I wasn't looking for him specifically. I'm just watching the game. Usually, when I watch the game the first time around, I'm just watching the game and seeing what jumps out at me. I'm not looking for any specifics. But then he jumped out. And then so I started watching him, and he's fantastic against the run, setting the edge. He's tremendous, man. I
He
think
can play the
they
run
really got a
inside
good
too.
guy. Yeah,
He's a 21-year-old, 270-pound player who's so stout. I mean, I've never really seen anything like it from that perspective.
yeah. I think he's got a bright future, man. If he stays healthy and just continues to improve week after week, he's got a lot of great role models in Fred Warner, Diamador Lenore, Nick Bosa, those kind of guys. Robert Saleh. He's got good people around him. If he just stays healthy and keeps at it, I think he could be tremendous for the 49ers. And being that they were struggled so bad against the run last year, I think it was the perfect pick, really.
Yeah. I what I like about him is he's such a team guy. He's not out there like he's the antithesis of Chase Young. Chase
Yeah.
Young was all about sacks, would give no effort as a run defender, and was so sold out to get the sack that he would give up, scrambles and then wouldn't chase the play. This guy is never going to do that. And maybe it'll sacrifice some of his own production and therefore money down the line, but he's going to do the right thing for his team. How many guys are like that, especially drafted in the top 11? Those guys are usually the prima donnas who are there to get paid. So I really appreciate that. He's making the defense better. And you saw what kind of improvement he made from week 1 to week 2, keeping in mind he didn't play in the preseason. He
Yeah.
really reminds me of Eric Armstead. And a smaller one, like 270, not 300, but he can push the pocket like that. He can defend the run from multiple places like that. And he's a better edge player because Armstead would give you no pressure from the edge, and he was a liability against, like just containing quarterbacks. Mykel can do that stuff. So he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, and shout out to Salah. I think picking up Huff was perfect because
Yep.
of where Mikel needs to improve. Huff, that's what he does. Put him on third down and long when you know there's going to be a pass and just send him. So they got Huff for that, and the rest of the time they can have Mikel out there, wreaking havoc on the defense, setting the edge, taking on double teams. I think it was a great pick, and I'm really happy with this 49ers defense and the direction they're going.
Okay, second round pick, Alfred Collins. He didn't play much in week 1, and he looked awful in week 1. He probably was the worst rookie on the field. This week he played 34 snaps. He had 2 tackles, and he seemed better. What'd you think from Alfred Collins? What'd you see from Alfred Collins? 24 snaps, excuse me, 34%, 24 snaps.
Yeah, I'll be real. After that first week, man, he not in a disrespectful way. I hate to say it, but he was getting kind of punked out there, and I don't mean
Yeah.
that in a disrespectful way to Alfred Collins, but he was getting pushed around. He got just pancaked by I don't know who it was, a running back or a tight end, somebody
Mhm.
pulling across. He struggled in that first game, and I was worried about him. I'm like, man, hopefully this isn't a bad pick. And then in this game, he really has some good moments that is encouraging. I think all these young guys, it's good to remember that they're rookies and it's going to take them some time to adjust to the game. But I thought Alfred Collins definitely looked a lot better in this game than he did last game.
Yeah, he went from week 1 being a guy who, like, literally couldn't stay on his feet and needed to get off the field to a
Yeah.
guy that's still getting pushed around. Like, he's a big man, and you'd think he should be able to hold his ground. Like, Mykel Williams holds his ground much better than Alfred Collins. Alfred Collins probably has 50 pounds on Mykel Williams, but I think that just shows how important technique is. His pad level's high, and he gets moved around like a sled at times, but he's still trending the right direction after 2 games.
Yeah, after the first game, I was worried about him. After this one, I'm encouraged. I think that he has potential, so it's something to keep watching. Just got to get that pad level low, and the NFL strength is a lot different from college strength. I think it takes some time to adjust, the length of the season, all of that. So, we always say 2-3 years with rookies, but after 2 games, you're seeing a slight improvement with Alfred Collins. I think that's a good thing. We'll see how he develops. Michael Williams is a little bit more impressive, for sure, a lot more impressive, I would say, but. It was good to see Alfred Collins take a step up from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, Michael went from a guy you didn't notice in week 1 to a guy you noticed for the right reasons in week 2. Collins went from a guy you noticed for the wrong reasons in week 1 to a guy you didn't really notice in week 2. Someone said
Yeah,
it's gonna take him a few years like it took Javon Kinlaw. Possible. He does seem like the kinda guy who has a lot of, talent, and he could figure it out week year 3, year 5. But,
right.
year 1, it's gonna be a slow process, I would think. Nick
Yeah.
Martin was, not active again. What do you make of that? I thought he actually was quite promising in the preseason.
Yeah, I think for Salah, having the fact that he has so many rookies, I think plays a part. Also, the fact he brought over Luke Gifford to play the role that he's playing, and he's a great special teams contributor. And if you look at D Winters and his production, him and Fred Warner are tied for 12th with 11 solo tackles. D Winters is playing his ass off. So you got Fred and D Winters, and then I think Salah just kind of chose the reliable, safe choice with Luke Gifford. And he was brought over for that reason. They have a history together. He's good on special teams. So I just think Nick Martin is more of a project. He's more on the D Winters trajectory, whereas he'll probably be pretty damn productive and good next year or the year after that. But the 49ers have a ton of great linebackers. They don't really need to rush Nick Martin. I don't think they need that. I don't think there's a weakness when you're looking at the 49ers defense thinking they need somebody else out here to play linebacker and they need Nick Martin. I don't really see that. I think they're doing fantastic at linebacker. They seem to always be doing really well at the linebacker position, no matter since Willis and Bowman. They've been doing a great job at linebacker. Outside of last year, maybe a little bit with what's his face? They walked off the field. Other than that, they've
Yeah,
always
what's
been
his
really
face?
good at linebacker. Yeah, and I think they can afford to be patient with Nick Martin, and that's probably why they are.
I think, yeah, they probably want him to be, like, more on it with his assignments, and I think they want the backups to be, special teams contributors or positive contributors because it's such an emphasis this year, and I don't know that Nick Martin is as good on special teams as Curtis Robinson or Tatum Bethune. But if D Winters were to get injured and miss time, I would imagine that Nick Martin would see the field pretty quickly because I think he'd be perfect in that position and that skill set. I think it just shows how good of a job D Winters is doing right now. He's might be the most improved player on the team. Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now. Right now, I don't know. He's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and I,
Makes you
I
wonder what
think
he
you
could
could
have done
see it
last year if what's his
coming.
face
But
wasn't out there.
yeah, and I think that's the main thing. The main reason why Nick Martin isn't on the field is because he kind of going to play that D Winters role, and D Winters is fantastic. So Nick Martin has to overcome that. And, he's not really the Mike. So I think that's the issue. Is D Winters is probably in his way, but that doesn't mean that Nick Martin can't really be good in the future, even as soon as next year or later on in this year. From what I saw from Nick Martin, it reminded me of D Winters in his second year. So I'm thrilled with Nick Martin, thrilled with D Winters. Good signs.
Okay, next one, Upton Stout played a whole lot in this game. He's a starting nickel. He blitzed. He might have had a sack. He had a penalty. He
Mhm.
was all over the place. People are testing him. What do you think of Upton Stout?
Encouragement for sure. He's got things to work on, but it's tough, man. When you're a rookie and you're just thrown out there, especially at the nickel. Nickel's one of the hardest positions to play in the NFL. It really is. I mean, corner's hard by itself, but nickel has its own set of challenges. Um, being able to guard a million different types of guys, being able to play like a linebacker at times, be able to blitz, but also be able to drop back into coverage is tough. But I like what I see from him. I want to know what you saw from him because he was like one of your favorite players in the training camp.
Well, I thought that he's around the action a lot. He had 5 tackles. I thought he was I think he's their second best cornerback after Diamador Lenore. I think he's better than Renardo Green. I think if you're looking for a weak link in the secondary, it's not Upton Stout. And I think that his illegal contact penalty was probably kind of ticky-tack. I think he's so sticky in coverage that officials are like, who are you? Who do you think you are, rookie? You shouldn't be this. I mean, I think there's a little bit of that going. I think he's good. And I like the fact that in week 2, Robert Saleh called a blitz for him and he got there. He was violent when he hit the quarterback. He seems like a pretty violent hitter. I think he's going to make their pass rush better. He's a good player. And he's going to be playing a whole lot.
So what you said to me is key. And I've noticed a pattern. I noticed it with Huff. I saw it with D Winters. And what you just said was he's around the ball a lot. When you're around the ball a lot as a rookie, that's a really good sign. That means once the game slows down for you a little bit through experience and through coaching, you're not going to just be around the ball a lot. You're going to be making more and more plays. So that's what you look for in these young defensive players. You saw it with Hufanga his rookie year. You saw it with D Winters last year. And you saw the improvement from those guys the next year. I would imagine Stout's going to be on that same trajectory.
And one thing I wanted to point out, the Niners didn't use a third linebacker yesterday. They used Stout and they used some 5-man fronts with times with defensive linemen, and they used Jair Brown in the slot as like a third safety. And I want to talk about that later because I think that's a cool little wrinkle. It's creative. It gets him on the field, and I think it's probably the best way to use him. Moving forward, who was the next guy they drafted? CJ West. They don't play him very much. He plays less than Alfred Collins. It's hard to notice him. I mean, it seems like he should probably be playing more based on what he did in preseason, but they're going slow with him, and they're rotating their defensive linemen a lot. What do you think of CJ West so far?
And be real, brother, I didn't notice him at all yesterday, which is weird because I feel like he had a better preseason than Alfred Collins. But I didn't notice him at all yesterday. Did you notice him do anything? I mean, Kalia did
He
Davis.
played
That was
13
good to
snaps
see.
and
He
didn't
jumped
register
out.
a stat.
Yeah, I didn't notice him at all.
It's
Again, I've only
possible
watched
that
the game
CJ
one
West was a
time.
bit of a training camp one-on-one superstar, and that he has a ways to go as like an actual 11-on-11 player against starters, just because of his body type. He's smaller. He doesn't have length.
Is there any type of roster politics at play here? Because if you ask me, CJ West looked more ready to play in the NFL than Alfred Collins.
That's
But being
true.
that
But
Alfred Collins
if
is
like
second,
if like Robert Saleh was the one who wanted Alfred Collins, then maybe it would look bad to the front office if he were to change his mind after a week or two and say, actually, CJ West is better. Like, no. It's we still believe in Alfred.
yeah, I mean, the good news is, man, they got a young D line with a lot of talent, and they're just going to get better as time goes by. And I love how Robert Saleh is dialing it up right now. So didn't really notice anything from CJ West. But if we're talking rookies, man, what about Connor Colby?
Connor Colby, it might be one of the more important rookies on this team because Ben Barch was never going to make it through a full season. He gets hurt every game almost. No offense, but that's just his pattern. He got hurt again immediately in this game. And more than anything, you need an offensive lineman who can play every snap and not come off the field. And it seems like, well, Colby did that in college at least. And maybe he can sort of solidify the offensive line for now.
Yeah, man, I was really encouraged with Ben Barch based off 1.5 games, and then he got injured, and I'm like, all right, well, once he gets healthy, he'll be good. But I think he's played, if I could be mistaken, but this is just off the top of my head. I think Ben Barch has played 4 games with the 49ers and been injured in 3 of them. I believe that's accurate, and that's not good, brother. Like,
Nope.
I don't know. At this point, man, like
That's like Josh Garnett stuff.
yeah, and when Connor Colby came in, I don't know what it was, right? Like the 49ers, Juice got a concussion, left the game. Mac Jones, maybe he just settled in. But then Connor Colby came in for Ben Barch. One of those 3 things, or maybe all of those things combined, that's when the offense started clicking. And it seemed to be a better O-line with Connor Colby out there than it was with Ben Barch. So I'm not sure, but it's encouraging. If I'm the 49ers, I'm probably going to let Connor Colby start this game against Arizona to see what he's like. And, Ben Barch probably can't even play anyways.
I think one thing that surprised a lot of people was the pass protection in this game. I mean, people that were expecting to see just how much Brock had been elevating things with his mobility and escapability were like, oh, well, what a game. What a week for the Niners offensive line to play their best game ever. Like, yeah, maybe that's because they got Connor Colby in there and they have a better player at left guard. I mean, I thought the guy who was kind of scaring me a little bit in this game, at least in the first half, was Pooney. I felt like anytime there was penetration in the backfield, it was his guy.
I think Pooney and Trent are both playing injured right now, and I think you can see that. So it's hard to judge both of those guys right now because I don't think they're healthy. I'm hoping that they find a way to become healthy during this season and it doesn't just keep lingering. Sometimes when you play injured, you can't really heal because you're constantly on the field and there's no time to heal. So I don't know. Yeah, Dominic Pooney, he's sophomore season right now, and the sophomore slump is real. I'm hoping that's not the case with him, and it's just an injury that's holding him up. But I really need this offensive line to start clicking, and it's a different situation, right? Like when you are protecting Mac Jones, you have different. It's a different assignment than when you're protecting Brock Purdy, right? With Brock Purdy as a lineman, you got to be prepared for that scramble. He's going to scramble out of there, and you got to keep going. With Mac Jones, you just need to protect him for as long as you can and hope he gets the ball out. So it's a different assignment. And if all five of these guys, I think the offensive line more than any other position, they're all dependent on each other. They play as, five fingers of the same hand. And so it could improve as they get healthier and as the season goes and they start building that chemistry. But it is going to be different from them blocking for Mac Jones and blocking for Brock Purdy. That's two different assignments.
True. 3 more rookies. 2 guys who've been inactive, and it kind of grinds my gears. Jordan Watkins, the 2 Jordans. Now, if their name were Jake, if they were Jake Watkins and Jake James, they'd be playing. They'd be starting. Because you know how Kyle feels about Jakes and Jacobs in general. Well, he doesn't like Jacob. But if your name is Jake, anyway, seriously, what gives here? So you got Kendrick Bourne gets fast-tracked onto the field, and he's I don't know what you thought of Kendrick Bourne, and then Brian Robinson Jr., whose signature move is hesitating. I don't know, man. I'd like to see these rookies at some point now. Me personally.
Yeah, good luck. I don't know if you will. To me, as long as Christian McCaffrey is healthy and why can't I think of the fella's name? As long as Christian McCaffrey, and Robinson Jr. are healthy, I don't think you're going to see Garendo. I don't think you're going to see Jordan James.
I don't need to see Garendo.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
We saw him on that kick return, man. He could have had a 35, took it out, got tackled at the 23. Dude.
Yeah, I will. In defense of Garendo, the turf was slippery. These guys were sliding. They need some different spikes yesterday, I feel like. But I will say that I do want to see Jordan James. And I think with James and Watkins, both of them, is we just didn't get to see much of them. They didn't get much of a training camp. And if you're a rookie on the 49ers and you miss time in training camp, unless you're like a first-round draft pick, good luck seeing the field. I don't think it's going to happen outside of injury. I don't think we're going to be able to see much, which is unfortunate because I have no idea what Jordan James is like. I watched him in college for like 5 minutes, and that's all. I have no idea if he's a dude or not. But I don't know if we're going to be able to find out with Watkins either, because think about it, Brandon Ayuk's coming back. Robinson is coming back as well. So, I mean,
I understand playing them ahead of Jordan Watkins, but Marquez Valdez-Scantling, that's like a few years ago when they would play Mohamed Sanu or Trent Sherfield over Brandon Ayuk because of age. It's like, shut up. It's like, that's how I felt about that decision. But of course, when those 2 guys come back, there won't be. I'm just saying, man. Kendrick Bourne. All right. Last rookie, Marquise Seagle. He's been interesting. He earned a starting job, maybe unexpectedly with his play in preseason. He's a hard hitter. He's constantly around the ball. He's a dog like Upton Stout, but he also has to cover. And although he's right there, he seems to be getting beat at the catch point. Gave up a touchdown and a longer catch. What do you think of Seagle?
Seagle looks like a rookie out there. He looks like a rookie with a lot of potential, but he looks like a rookie. You can tell. So I'm excited for Malik to come back. I like Seagle. I would like it to be Seagle and Malik at the same time eventually. But you got to like Seagle. I think he's very impressive, man. Didn't he? He led the 49ers last week in tackles, I believe. So there's a lot of great things to look forward to when it comes to Marquise Seagle. But I think this year, I'm going to sound like a broken record because I'm just going to be encouraging us to give these guys some time as rookies. You can't really write them off for some of these mistakes. It's just a learning process. They're learning on the fly. We're learning on the field. A lot of us been dying for Kyle Shanahan to play more rookies, and he is. But this is what happens when you have them. But I definitely think he looks like he could be a guy, man. He just has to keep learning on the fly.
I think Saleh is looking for his next Jimmy Ward. When his defense was really good in 2019, Ward was crucial because on third down, you could put a man-to-man on the tight end, play single high with Jaquiski Tart, bring a fifth rusher. You could do all kind of stuff. And having that guy who could shut down, I mean, he was the best guy at covering tight ends in the league at that point because he had the skill set. He could actually play corner, and he played nickel, and he could play all. So he was incredible at that. I don't know that Seagle is necessarily Jimmy Ward or can fill that role. When he was going up against Juwan Johnson, it just felt like he's a little small. He didn't quite have the length to challenge the ball at the catch point. Maybe he'll get there in a few weeks, but I wonder if the best way to use him is more like free safety than in man-to-man coverage on the tight end. I guess they'll figure that out, but it's a work in progress.
The closest to Jimmy Ward on this team to me, and it's not very close, but the closest would be Jason Pinnock, I think.
I agree. Yeah, because that's the guy who actually did play corner.